I never thought dying would feel like waking up in someone else's skin. Itchy. Too tight. Reeking of cheap cologne and regret. But there I was, staring into a bathroom mirror smeared with fingerprints that weren't mine. My new face a stranger's sneer staring back, sharp jaw, cold blue eyes. The kind that said, trust fund, more than trust me. And the voice that croaked out my name, Peyton, sounded like gravel under tires. Not the smooth baritone I'd stolen it from. My brother, Ethan, the golden boy who'd always stepped over me like I was yesterday's news, was now the ghost haunting his own body, while I wore it like a stolen coat. The swap? Some black market ritual in a Vegas backroom, courtesy of a desperate surgeon who'd lost everything to Ethan's Ponzi scheme. I'd paid with my last dime and a chunk of soul I didn't know I had left. But hey, revenge isn't cheap, it's just the only bill worth settling. It started 3 years back, in the sprawl of Phoenix, Arizona, where the sun beats down like God's own hammer and dreams go to bake. I was 28, fresh out of a dead-end warehouse gig, crashing on Ethan's couch because family sticks. Right? Wrong. Ethan, 32, and climbing the corporate ladder at some fintech startup. Had it all, the McMansion in Scottsdale, the Tesla in the garage, and Claire, his wife, a real estate shark with legs for days and a smile that could sell ice to Eskimos. They pitted me, sure, the pathetic Leech, as Claire called me behind closed doors. But they let me stay. Or so I thought. Turns out, I was the perfect fall guy. The night it all shattered was a Tuesday, humid even for summer. The kind where AC hums like a lullaby, but sleep never comes. I'd come home early from a shift, bones aching from hauling crates, only to find Ethan in the home office, hunched over his laptop, sweat beading on his forehead like he'd run a marathon in loafers. "Pay? That you?" he called, voice pitching high. I poked my head in, saw the spreadsheets glowing, numbers that didn't add up, client names I'd never heard, wires transferring to offshore accounts. "Just work stuff, bro," he said, slamming the lid shut. But his eyes, they were screaming. Claire breezed in later, martini in hand, her laugh cutting through the tension like a knife through silk. "Why is this pathetic Leech even here?" she hissed to Ethan when she thought I was in the shower, her voice carrying through the thin walls like a bad radio signal. I froze, water pounding my back, feeling the burn of it deeper than any sunburn. Leech. That's what I was to them, a placeholder, a buffer. But that night, as sirens wailed in the distance, Ethan pulled me aside. "Pay. Listen. I fucked up. Big time. The feds are closing in embezzlement, wire fraud, the works. If they trace it to me," he trailed off, gripping my shoulder like I was his lifeline. "You take the hit for me. Just this once. I'll make it right. Offshore accounts, new IDs, the dream life. For both of us." I laughed then, a bitter bark that echoed off the tiles. Take the hit? For the brother who'd borrowed my college savings and forgot to pay back? For the sister-in-law who'd sneered at my thrift store jeans while flaunting her Birkin? But blood's thicker than ink. Or so Mom used to say before the cancer chewed her up. So I nodded. Signed the confessions they fed me. Let the lawyers, Ethan's lawyers, paint me as the mastermind. Peyton Ellis, 28, orchestrated a $2.3 million fraud scheme from his brother's garage. The headlines blared. I got 8 years in federal lockup, Arizona State Prison, where the days blurred into concrete gray nightmares. Ethan visited once. In the early months, his Armani suit crisp against the visitation room's scuffed tables. "You're a hero. Pay," he whispered, slipping a crumpled photo of Claire pregnant under the glass. "This is for us. For the family."
Hero. Right.
I smashed the cheap plastic chair they'd bolted to the floor that night, knuckles splitting on the metal frame. The guards tossed me twice before I stopped. But deep down, in the cell's stale dark, I started planning. Not escape, something sharper. Whispers in the yard led me to Doc Harlan, a lifer surgeon who'd botched one too many cartel hits and ended up inside. "Body swaps," he muttered over smuggled cigarettes, eyes gleaming like he'd found God in a petri dish. "Experimental shit from Eastern Europe. Neural mapping. Consciousness transfer. Pricey. But if you're willing to die for it, die for it." That's what it took. A staged heart attack, potassium chloride in my 4, courtesy of a bent nurse Ethan never knew I had on payroll from prison laundry shifts. Flatline on the gurney. Monitors screaming. And then nothing. Until the beep again. But slower. In a body that wasn't mine. Ethan's body. The swap happened in a nondescript clinic off the strip. Harlan's colleagues, wiring my brain to his while he was blackout drunk on roofies. Cost me everything, my identity, my freedom, and yeah, a piece of whatever soul was left after Claire's words festered like an open wound. But when I woke up in that hotel mirror, flexing fingers that had signed my death warrant, I smiled. For the first time in years.
Ethan?
He woke up in my shell, scrawny, tattooed from a dumb teenage dare. Shipped back to the prison infirmary as Peyton Ellis. Recovered from collapse. The guards bought it, the feds didn't care.
He was me now.
Rotting in a 6x8 while I stepped into his life, like slipping on loafers 2 sizes too big. Claire didn't notice at first. Why would she? I played the part, kisses at the door, hand on her swelling belly, murmurs about baby names over takeout Thai. But inside, every touch was acid. Every "I love you" a loaded gun. The first crack came at the gender reveal party. 3 months in. Scottsdale's elite crammed into our backyard, real estate moguls in polos. Tech bros with man buns. All sipping rose under string lights while a cake bled blue or pink. Claire, radiant in white linen, held court, her hand on my arm like I was a trophy. "Ethan, darling, tell them about the nursery remodel," she cooed, eyes scanning for buyers. I nodded, voice steady in this borrowed throat.
"Yeah.
We're going coastal, whites. Blues. A nod to the Hamptons. Lies. All of it. But they ate it up." Then she leaned in, breath hot with champagne.
"God.
"You're off tonight." Still hungover from poker. Her fingers dug into my wrist, nails like talons. I met her gaze. Saw the flicker. Doubt?
Desire?
"Just thinking about how far we've come," I said. Low enough for only her. From that pathetic leech on our couch to
this.
Her laugh was a shard of glass. "Don't remind me. Peyton was such a drag. Good riddance to that mess." The words landed like a gut punch, but I smiled wider, the kind that doesn't reach the eyes. That's when I knew this wasn't just about Ethan. It was her, too, the architect, the one who'd whispered the schemes in his ear, who'd laughed when the cuffs clicked on my wrists. The pregnancy? A shield. A golden ticket to sympathy in divorce court. I'd seen the emails. Hacked from my laptop. "Get rid of the brother. He's toxic." We start fresh post-baby. Betrayal squared. Deep as marrow. That night, after the guests stumbled out, I cornered her in the kitchen. Marble counters gleaming under halogens. Claire, we need to talk. She rolled her eyes, popping a Xanax from the island drawer. About what? Your mood swings? Therapy. Ethan. Seriously. I stepped closer, close enough to smell her Chanel No. 5. The one she'd sprayed to cover the fear sweat. About Peyton. Remember him? The leech who took the fall so you could play house. Her face drained, white as the Carrara. What the? Ethan. You're scaring me. But her hand went to the phone, thumb hovering over 911. I snatched it, tossed it into the sink, crack of glass on porcelain. I'm not Ethan, sweetheart. I'm the ghost you buried. Her scream started low, building like a storm siren. But I clamped a hand over her mouth, the other pinning her wrist. Not violent, no. That'd be too easy. Too traceable. Just enough pressure to make her eyes bulge, to let the truth sink in like venom. You see, Claire, swaps aren't just for trading stocks. They're for trading lives. I released her, watched her crumple against the fridge.
Gasping.
Peyton?
No.
You're lying. This is some sick joke. But I recited details only I knew. The abortion she'd had in college, hidden from Ethan, the affair with his boss that netted the startup gig, the way she'd forged my signature on those fraud docs. Her elegant script mimicking my scrawl. Her world cracked then. Fisher's spiderwebbing out. From there, it was a slow burn. I played Ethan by day, board meetings where I greenlit deals that funneled cash to anonymous accounts, mine.
Now.
Schmoozing investors with handshakes that hid the tremble of unfamiliar muscles. By night, I unraveled her. Hired a PI to dig up the dirt. Claire's side hustle. Flipping distressed properties with laundered money. Ties to a cartel light operation in the valley. Controversial? Hell yes. Exposing her meant dragging innocents into the light. Families evicted for condos. Lives upended. But revenge doesn't ask permission. The decisions gnawed at me.
Though.
In Ethan's skin, I felt his echoes, flashes of guilt. Love for the unborn kid. The life we'd built on my bones. One night, staring at ultrasound pics on the fridge, I almost cracked. Called the prison. Disguised voice. Tell inmate Ellis his brother's coming clean. But hung up before the line connected.
No.
He chose this. They both did. Claire fought back. Of course. Mornings turned to minefields. Accusations over coffee. You're not my husband, hissed through gritted teeth. She lawyered up quietly, filing for a psych eval, claiming delusion. But I was steps ahead, planting doubts, anonymous tips to her colleagues about erratic behavior, doctored emails suggesting postpartum paranoia. The board whispered, clients pulled back. Her empire, built on charm and cutthroat deals, started crumbling like dry adobe. By month 6, the belly swelled, kicks visible under taut skin, and the tension coiled tighter than a noose. We slept in separate rooms, her barricaded with locks I'd picked twice just to leave gifts, Polaroids of my old mugshot juxtaposed with Ethan's wedding vows. She stopped eating, lost the glow, shadows under eyes like bruises. What do you want? Peyton, she finally broke. One dawn in the nursery. Paint cans unopened around us. To ruin me? The baby? I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed in a pose that felt too Ethan. I want what you took. My life. But since that's gone, yours will do. Her sob was raw, echoing off the empty walls. Controversial as hell, tormenting a pregnant woman. The mother of my niece or whatever. Pro-life rallies would torch me, shrinks would call it displaced rage. But in America's underbelly, where the powerful skate free and the small fry, justice wears a gray hat. The climax brewed in a Tempe warehouse, off the 101, where Claire's cartel ties converged. I'd tailed her there, Tesla hugging shadows. Heart, Ethan's heart, pounding like a war drum.
She met Ramon.
A mid-level fixer with gold chains and a Glock bulge, handing off a briefcase in the sodium glare. Everything's unraveling, she pleaded, voice tinny through my bugged phone. The husband's cracking, thinks he's his brother. I need out, Ramon laughed. Low and wet. Out costs extra. Mommy. Or we make an example. I waited till they split, then cornered her in the lot. Gravel crunching under tires as I blocked her Escalade. Going somewhere? She froze. Keys jangling. Then bolted, heels snapping on asphalt, breath ragged. I pursued on foot, this body fitter than mine ever was, tackling her against a chain-link fence rattling in the desert wind. It's over.
Claire.
Feds have the tapes. Ramon singing like a canary.
Lies.
Mostly, I'd fed the tips myself. Anonymous drops to the Phoenix field office. But her face crumpled, defeat washing over like monsoon rain.
Please.
The baby. She clutched her belly, and for a split second, I saw Mom dying, begging for one more day. My hand hovered, then dropped. No mercy. Not for her. Sirens wailed distant.
Closing in.
I zip-tied her wrists with ties from the glove box. Gentle. Almost. Like cuffing a lover. Tell Ethan I said hi. As the blues flashed, bathing us in strobes. I slipped away, ghosting into the night. Back home, I poured scotch, Ethan's top-shelf Macallan, and toasted the mirror. Victory tasted like ash. But twists, they say, are the devil's corkscrew. 2 weeks later, in a sterile OB/GYN waiting room, Claire's water broke early, stress-induced.
The doc said.
I rushed, Ethan rushing, to the hospital, corridors smelling of bleach and despair. She labored for hours, screams echoing down halls lined with faded posters of smiling newborns. When they wheeled her out, pale and spent, she locked eyes on me. It's a boy, the nurse chirped, placing the bundle in my arms. He was tiny, wrinkled, fists balled like he was already fighting. And those eyes blue.
Cold.
But mine. Not Ethan's. The DNA test I'd snuck earlier confirmed it, in some drunken haze years back. Before the fraud. Before the hate.
Claire and I.
We'd cross lines. A one-night blur at a family barbecue, buried under booze and bad decisions. The kid was mine. Peyton's. The secret she'd chanted. The crime I'd borne, not just fraud, but paternity. Stolen legacy. Rage flipped to vertigo. All this the swap. The unraveling, for a throne that was never Ethan's to begin with. I handed the baby back, legs buckling as truth inverted. Claire smirked through painkillers. Surprise. Brother-in-law. Or should I say, Daddy. The ending? Debatable as a Supreme Court split. I could claim it all, raise the boy as Ethan's, Let prison Peyton rot with the lie. Or expose the web. Drag us all down in a tabloid blaze. Fintech airs body swap horror, incest, fraud, and a miracle mix-up. Happy? If redemption's handing off the kid to a trust fund nanny and vanishing to Mexico with the laundered loot. Tragic? If I stay, playing house in a skin that itches eternal. Brother, brother, father in one fractured shell. Either way, as the sun rose over Phoenix, baking the sprawl gold, I whispered to the empty nursery, "Why is this pathetic Leech even here?"
And laughed.
Because now, I was the one showing the door to all of them. The hospital discharge was a farce. Papers shuffling like bad poker hands, nurses cooing over the bassinet while Claire dozed under sedation. Her empire in handcuffs, metaphorically for now. I signed Ethan Ellis with a flourish that felt like forgery on steroids, the pen digging into the clipboard like it owed me money. Outside, the Arizona heat hit like a slap, 110 degrees. Even in October, the sky a bruise of clouds promising no rain. I buckled the car seat in the Tesla. Little Noah, yeah. She'd named him that. Biblical irony thick as smog, gumming at a pacifier. Oblivious to the bomb his existence had dropped. Driving back to the McMansion, ten stretching like a vein through the Sonoran sprawl. My mind raced laps.
Paternity.
The word stuck like gum on a hot sidewalk. That barbecue. 4th of July 5 years back. Ethan grilling ribs slathered in stubs. Claire in a sundress that hugged curves like a second skin. Me nursing a Coors Light in the corner. The family black, sheep dodging Aunt Karen's pitying glances. We'd all gotten lit. Fireworks popping overhead. And sometime after the pie, when Ethan passed out on the lounger, she'd pulled me into the guest bath. "You're not like him," she'd murmured. Lips tasting of cherry lip gloss and bourbon.
Sweeter.
Real. One fumble. Clothes tangled on the tile. And poof, legacy conceived in a haze of regret. I'd blacked it out. Mostly woke with a hangover and her warning, "Tell no one." Ever. Ethan never suspected. Why would he? I was the screw-up, not the sire.
But now?
Now it reframed everything. The fraud? Not just greed, insurance. A nest egg for the kid she knew wasn't his. The betrayal? Layered like a bad lasagna. Her using me twice. Once as lover. Once as scapegoat. And Ethan, my brother. The man whose body I wore like a Halloween mask. Had he known? Whispers in those emails I'd missed. Maybe. Or was he as blind as the rest? Noah fussed as I pulled into the driveway. Palm trees swaying lazy in the breeze. Sprinklers hissing on emerald lawns that screamed, keeping up with the Joneses. The house loomed, all glass and stucco. A monument to our hustle. I carried him inside, the AC blasting cool relief, and settled him in the rocker. Those blue eyes, my eyes, locking on mine. "Hey, kid," I murmured, voice cracking in Ethan's timbre. "Daddy's home." The word twisted like a knife. Who's daddy? The ghost in prison stripes? Or the imposter staring back from the hall mirror? Claire came home 2 days later. Ambulance drop-off. Her lawyer trailing like a bad smell. She'd lawyered up harder than a mob boss, top firm out of Phoenix. The kind that bills by the heartbeat. "No charges yet," the suit said, adjusting cufflinks that probably cost more than my old truck. "But the feds are sniffing."
Your
condition. He eyed me sideways, like I was the loose cannon. Claire, propped on pillows in the master, shot daggers. "Get out."
Harlan.
And take your client with you.
Client. Me. Ethan.
Whatever. Alone. With no one napping in the nursery monitor's glow. She lit into me. You happy now? Peyton? Baby early. Me in pieces, your masterpiece. Her voice was whiskey rough. Pain meds wearing thin. I perched on the bed's edge, the mattress dipping under this heavier frame. Not yet. But close. She laughed. Bitter as burnt coffee. What next? Poison the formula? Drown me in the pool like some Lifetime movie.
Tempting.
But no. Too messy. Too American Gothic for my taste. I wanted her to watch it burn slow. Truth serum, I said instead. Pulling a thumb drive from my pocket, Ethan's pocket, lined with lint from $100 bills. Everything on here. The affair.
The kid.
The cartel flips. Uploaded to a dead man switch. If I don't check in daily, it blasts to the DOJ. The Sun-Times. Your yoga mom's group chat. Her color drained, lips paling to chalk. You wouldn't. Not with him. She nodded at the monitor, where Noah's chest rose fell in pixel piece. Try me. I leaned in, close enough to count the freckles across her nose, freckles I'd traced that night. You made me a monster.
Claire.
Or, did you think leeches don't bite back? She swung then, a weak slap that glanced off my jaw, nails raking stubble. I caught her wrist, held it not hard, but firm, the way Ethan used to in arguments I'd overheard through walls. Stop, I hissed. This ends my way. The days blurred into a tense détente. I played Superdad by day, diaper changes that made my stomach lurch. Bottles warmed to perfection. Lullabies in a voice that warbled off-key. Neighbors dropped casseroles. Cooed over the miracle preemie, oblivious to the powder keg. Claire played along. Smiles brittle as Rice Krispies. But her eyes tracked me like a hawk on a field mouse. Nights, she'd slip into the study, tapping away on a burner laptop. No doubt scheming escapes or payoffs. I let her bait on the hook. The first real move came from Ethan's world, not hers. A board call at dawn. Voice crackling over speaker. Ellis.
We need you in.
Investors pulling out. Rumors of instability. Instability. My doing. Whispers I'd planted through shell accounts. I suited up. Silk tie nodding smooth under fingers that still fumbled buttons. And drove to the Tempe office park. Glass towers piercing the haze like middle fingers to the desert. The conference room was a Shark Tank, suits circling. PowerPoints bleeding red ink. Ethan. Talk to us, the CEO growled. A silver fox named Hargrove with a Rolex that ticked like a bomb. I spun it calm, collected. Ethan's charm dialed to 11. Market jitters? Gentlemen. But we've got aces. New VC from Silicon Alley. Projections up 15% Q4. Bullshit. Pulled from ass and spreadsheets I'd doctored overnight. They bought it. Mostly. But Hargrove lingered after. Cigar smoke curling like accusations. Heard about the wife. Domestic issues. His eyes bored in. Paternal but probing. Claire's fine. Stress of the baby.
Lie.
But close enough. Back home. Claire waited. No on her hip, like a shield. Where were you? She demanded. Rocking him, automatic. Fixing your mess. I shrugged off the jacket. Hung it precise, Ethan's OCD tick I'd adopted. Or making a bigger one. Her laugh was hollow. You think you can run his life? You're a shadow. Peyton. A cheap knockoff. That stung. Deeper than expected. Shadow.
Yeah.
In the mirror, I saw it, Ethan's height, his posture. But my slouch creeping in, my hesitations. The swap wasn't perfect, Harlan had warned. Neural bleed. Memories leaking like faulty plumbing. Flashes hit random. Ethan's first kiss with Claire at prom. Tasting cotton candy, my own. Awkward fumble with a barista in Tempe. Whose life was this? I shoved it down. Focused on the plan. Step 2. Squeeze the cartel thread. Ramon called that night. Number spoofed from a Juarez burner.
Señor Ellis.
Your wife. She talks too much. Loose ends. His English was thick, accented with menace. I paced the patio. Pool lights shimmering blue below. Saguaros silhouetted against city glow. What kind of ends? He chuckled. Wet as phlegm. The kind that get cut. Or paid. $50K. Wired by morning. And we forget her mouth. Extortion. Classic. I wired it from Claire's slush fund. The one I'd frozen half of already.
Done.
But touch her, and it's war. Ramon hung up laughing.
War.
In America, it meant lawyers and leaks, not AKs in the alley. But close enough. I texted Claire the wire confirmation. Your dog's fed. For now. Her retaliation hit midnight. A scream ripping through the house, Noah's wail joining chorus. I bolted upstairs. Found her in the nursery. Rocking chair overturned. Shards of a smashed mobile glittering like broken dreams. You think you own us, she sobbed, clutching the baby like contraband. I'll tell them everything. The swap. The fraud. You're fraud now. Hysteria edged her voice. Eyes wild in the nightlight's amber. I righted the chair. Gentle. Cooing Noah quiet with pats that felt foreign. Go ahead. Who believes a caged bird over the golden goose? But doubt flickered. Cops. Shrinks. They dig. And bodies tell tales. Scars mismatched. Fingerprints fudged, but not flawless. Controversial call. Sedate her?
No.
Too risky with the kid. Instead, I held her. Awkward embrace in Ethan's arms. Her sobs soaking the shirt. We could have been something, I whispered. Unbidden. Before. She pulled back. Searchlight eyes piercing. You were something.
To me.
Past tense. A guillotine. The line blurred then, hate and heat. The old spark flickering in the wreckage. We didn't kiss. That'd be cliché. Soap opera rot. But the tension? Electric. Controversial as a lightning rod in a storm. By week's end, the feds knocked, polite. In windbreakers, badges glinting casual. Mr. Ellis? A word about your wife's associates. Claire played innocent. Perched on the couch with Noah nursing discreet. Me echoing concern in the kitchen. They left with nothing but coffee mugs. But the clock ticked louder. Revenge's rhythm. Build. Break.
Burn.
I drove to the prison that afternoon. First visit since the swap. Arizona State. Florence Complex. Razor wire glinting cruel under sun. Ethan me? Shuffled in. Orange jumpsuit hanging loose on my old frame. Eyes hollowed by yard time. Pay, he croaked. Glass between us like judgment. What the hell happened? Life swap.
Bro.
I leaned in. Voice low. You in my skin. Me in yours. Fair trade. His laugh was a wheeze. Claire? The kid? I nodded slow.
Yours. Ours.
A complicated. The truth half-spilled then paternity bomb. Her schemes. My unraveling. He banged the table. Veins bulging. Bastard. I did this for us.
Us.
The word soured. Visitation ended with him screaming for a lawyer. Guards hauling him back. Driving out. Desert swallowing the rear view. I felt the twist deepen. Brother against brother. Father to none. The leech had teeth. All right, but biting on tail? Noah's first smile came that night. Gummy and guileless. Directed at me over a bottle. I froze. Bottle hovering. Ethan's hand trembling. Smile back? Or spit the milk? Debatable. I chose the smile. Controversial as confessing love to a lie. The leaks started small. Ripples in the Scottsdale pond. Anonymous posts on Nextdoor. Ellis family drama? Watch your backs. Neighbors. Then the Sun-Times picked it up. A fluff piece on Fintech Wunderkind's turbulent home life. Photo of me, Ethan, pushing a stroller through the park. Caption dripping sympathy. Claire devoured it over breakfast. Spoon clinking vicious against her cereal bowl. Your handiwork, she asked, not looking up. Noah banged a rattle on his high chair. Oblivious percussion. Mine?
Nah.
Yours. Leaking like a sieve. I sipped coffee black. 2 sugars. Ethan's habit, watching her flinch. Truth was, I'd fed the beast, tips to a stringer I'd bought with petty cash. Painting her as the villain. Me as the beleaguered dad. Controversial spin, smearing a new mom, preying on postpartum optics. But in America's media mill, sympathy sells, and I needed the shield. She set the spoon down. Deliberate. This ends. Peyton. Today. Her voice was steel now. Meds flushed. Fire back in the belly. I call oppressor. Spill it all, your swap. The prison break. Whatever the psychosis is. Psychosis.
Cute.
I leaned back. Chair creaking under borrowed bulk.
Do it.
But the drive drops first. Your affair headlines. Real estate queen's secret spawn. Good for the brand. Noah chose then to hurl his spoon. Pureed pea splattering my shirt like abstract art. We both laughed sharp. Shared. A crack in the armor. Truce, she ventured, wiping his chin with a bib that read Future CEO. Truce. The word hung, tempting as forbidden fruit. For a beat, I saw it, co-parenting in this gilded cage. Secrets buried deeper. Ethan rotting as the price. But no, revenge is a one-way street. Potholed with what-ifs. Truce with conditions, I countered. You flip on Ramon. Full confessional to the feds. Clean slate for the kid. Her eyes narrowed. Calculating. And you? Walk free in his skin. I nodded.
Deal.
Lies. Of course. The second she sang, I'd pull the plug, expose her as the snake, not the songbird. The meet with the feds was her idea. Neutral ground, a Starbucks in Mesa, off the beaten path, where baristas frothed lattes and soccer moms typed furiously on Macs. I dropped her there. Noah in tow for the optics. Her in pearls and pencil skirt like armor. Be good, I said, kissing her cheek, Ethan's ritual. Now mine. She stiffened, but held my gaze. For him. I circled the block. Tesla purring silent. Bug in her purse feeding audio to my phone. Agent Torres? Claire Ellis. I have information on Ramon Valdez, properties.
Payoffs.
The works. Torres' voice. Gravelly Texan. Appreciate it.
Ma'am.
Your husband's aware?
Pause.
Her breath hitching. Ethan?
He's.
Supportive. Lies layered thick. But Ramon? She rolled. Dates. Drops. Even a safe house in Guadalupe. The feds lapped it up. Promises of immunity dangling like carrots. Back home, she burst in triumphant, scooping Noah for a spin. It's done. They're raiding tonight. Her grin was genuine. First in months, vindication's glow. I clapped slow. Sardonic. Brava. Now the drive. She froze. Joy curdling.
What?
I pull my phone. Thumb on the app. Delete the files. Or poof, headlines. Betrayal redux. Her face crumpling like tissue. You lying sack. I trusted you. Like I trusted you with the fall? I hit send. Not full blast. Just a teaser to her boss. A fair email snippet. Paternity hint. Her phone buzzed immediate. Horror widening eyes.
No. God.
No. She lunged. Nails out. But I sidestepped easy. This body's reflexes sharp. Noah wailed. Sensing storm. Your move.
Claire.
Resign.
Quietly.
Or the kid grows up with love child of fraud on loop. She sank to the floor. Back to the island. Sobs muffled in knees. Controversial low. Breaking her with a baby's cry as soundtrack. But power's aphrodisiac. And in Ethan's veins. It surged hot. I left her there. Drove to the office for damage control. Hargrove waiting. Cigar ash trailing like accusations.
Ellis.
The wife's in deep. Cartel whispers. I played dumb. Affable. Gossip.
Sir.
She's clean, new mom jitters. He eyed me. Puffing slow. Hope so. For your sake. Night fell heavy. Monsoon finally cracking, sheets of rain lashing windows. Thunder rumbling like God's indigestion. The raid hit news by 10. Choppers over Guadalupe. TAC teams breaching Ramon's flop. Headlines screaming, Valley Cartel bust. Local moms tip cracks case. Claire watched from bed. Remote clutched white-knuckled. A ghost in silk PJs.
See?
I fixed it. Her voice small. Pleading. I sat beside. Remote rested gentle. Almost. Then the twist she'd primed. My phone rang. Unknown number. Torres, Mr. Ellis? Your wife's story checks, but yours? We pulled prints from the clinic. Harlan's log. Transfer complete. Subject Ellis, E. To Ellis P. Click.
Dead air.
My gut dropped. Rain blurring the world outside. She'd flipped the script, told them everything. Immunity her shield. Me the monster unmasked. Panic clawed. Escape? Fight? Noah's cry cut through. From the nursery. Claire rose. Slow. Victorious. Your turn to fall. Peyton. But as she moved for the door, lightning forked, illuminating her face, not triumph.
Terror.
Wait. What if they don't believe?
Doubt.
Her old friend. I grabbed her arm, pulling close. They won't. Not without proof. The swap's flaw, no scars to match. No DNA, deep dive. But Harlan? That rat would sing for a plea. Sirens wailed distant coming, or echo. We stood frozen. Rain drumming dirge. Noah's wail the only verdict. In that beat, alliance fractured reformed. Help me, she whispered. Hide it. Controversial pact. Enemies to enablers. For the kids' sake? I nodded. Once. Burn the drive. Call your suit, spin control. She did. Fingers flying. Lawyer on speed dial spinning yarns of marital stress. False accusations. Taurus follow-up came dawn. Rain-slick streets steaming. Retracting. Mr. Ellis. Informants. Unreliable. Postpartum. Relief washed. But bitter. Claire slept then. Exhausted. Noah curled on her chest. I watched from the armchair. Ethan's body aching in ways mine never did. Phantom pains. Maybe. Or guilt's ghost. But revenge? It morphed. No longer burn it down, sustain the blaze. Control the flames. I wired more to Ramon's remnants. Hush money. Buying silence. Hired cleaners for the clinic logs. Digital ghosts erased. Claire resigned next day. Family priorities. Press release purring soft. The board bought my pitch. Restructuring for growth. Hargrove clapped my back. Family man now. Nights turned intimate. Uneasy, shared bottles of cab. Stories skirting edges. Why me? I asked once. Stars pricking the jacuzzi steam. That night. Not him. She swirled wine. Reflective. You saw me. Not the package. Vulnerability. Raw as steak. I almost forgave, almost. But the Leech remembers the boot. Ethan wrote from inside. Smuggled note via bent guard. Scrawl shaky. End this. Come clean. For blood.
Blood.
The tie that bound and broke. I burned it in the sink. Flame dancing blue.
No.
Noah's baptism loomed. Catholic church in Arcadia. Whites and lace. Sins washed in holy water. Claire's idea. Redemption play. I stood Godfather, irony thick, vows mumbled in Latin echo. Father O'Malley blessed. Oblivious. A new beginning. Yeah. For who? The ceremony ended with cake in the fellowship hall. Relatives toasting. Aunt Karen prying. Claire looks peaky. Everything okay? I deflected. Charm on autopilot. But outside, under peppered trees,
Claire cornered me.
We're even. Her eyes searched. Hopeful. Not yet. I kissed her forehead. Lingering, possession or pity, debatable. As guests milled, my phone vibrated. Harlan. Collect from county lockup. They grilled me.
Kid.
But I held. For old times. Old times. The surgeon's favor. Bought with promises of out. The drive home was silent. Noah gurgling backseat. Rain stopped. Desert blooming brief. Ocotillo red against sand. Revenge's plateau. Not climax. But simmer. But twists weighed in the wings. Baptism bliss faded fast. Like cheap dye in the wash. A week later, Hargrove called me into his office. Corner suite overlooking the Salt River. Valley sprawl baking below.
Sit.
Ethan. His desk was battleship, oak. Photos of yacht clubs and grandkids beaming. I sat. Spine straight in Ethan's Brooks Brothers. Sir? He slid a folder across. Manila-stained coffee ring. Prince.
From your home office.
Match to Peyton Ellis, inmate 47892.
Boom.
Heart, borrowed, slammed ribs. Claire's slip? Or deeper dig? What is this? I played stunned. Voice pitching Ethan's tenor. Hargrove leaned back. Chair groaning. Your brother. The fraud guy. Feds looped me in, courtesy call.
Says you're.
Impersonating. Impersonating. The word hung. Absurd as a clown at a funeral. I laughed. Forced. Delusional. Prison fever. Peyton's always been jealous. He eyed me. Cigar unlit between fingers. Maybe. But the wife story? Cartel tip. Then recants, claims coercion. By you. Coercion. Her word against mine. But in boardrooms. Optics kill. Hargrove. It's bullshit. Stress. The baby. Save it. He stabbed the intercom. Security. 2 goons in polos materialized. Meaty hands on my shoulders. Leave quietly. Ellis. Or whatever you are. Investigation pending. Escorted out. Elevator dinging like doom. Employees averting eyes. Whispers trailing. Freak show. The drive home blurred. Tesla autopilot hugging lanes while my mind spun donuts.
Claire.
Had to be. Her truce, a Trojan horse. Lawyer feeding feds the swap angle. Or Ethan. From his cage. Scripting revenge via smuggled calls. I pulled over at a Circle K. Gas station glow harsh. Bought smokes, Marlboros. Ethan's vice and lit up. Drag-burning lungs unfamiliar. Smoke curled. Questions with it. Bail? Bolt? The kid. Noah's face flashed. Blue eyes pleading innocent. Claire was packing when I burst in. Suitcases zipper snarling in the foyer. Noah on a blanket. Stacking blocks oblivious. Going somewhere? My voice calm. But fists balled in pockets. She didn't flinch. Folding a onesie precise. Away from you. Lawyers got custody papers. Emergency. Signed yesterday. Yesterday. While I schmoozed at church. Betrayals encore. Sharper. You sold me out. The prince. The coercion lie. Her laugh tinkled.
Cold.
Self-defense. Peyton. You're unraveling. Rants about swaps.
Threats.
The board called. I confirmed. Confirmed. My own web. Tangled. I stepped closer. Blocks tumbling as Noah clapped. And the kid? You drag him through this. He's Ethan's.
Lie. Bite.
Her eyes dared contradiction. I almost spilled, paternity again, but held. Leverage later. Feds coming. For me. Let them. She zipped the last bag. Wheeled it past. You wanted the door shown? There it is. She paused at threshold. Rain fresh air wafting in. For what it's worth. I loved you. Both of you. Door click shut. Engine hum fading.
Gone.
Noah toddled to me. Arms up. Duh. The word gut punched. I scooped him. Buried face in his downy hair. Smell of talc and trust. Sirens?
No.
But clock ticked. I called Harlan's contact. The underground fixer. New identity.
Fast.
Out of state. Price. $50K. Wired immediate. And the kid? Extra. Packing was frenzy, diapers. Formula. Ethan's Rolex pawn for cash. Phoenix, too.
Where?
Pacific Northwest, Seattle's Gray Vale, tech haven for ghosts. But first, prison. One last play. Florence gates clanged open. Visiting hour squeezed between shifts. Ethan slouched in, my old body gaunt, tattoos faded like regrets. Pay. His eyes, my eyes, widened. The hell? You look. Like you.
Yeah.
I slid a photo across. Noah. Gummy smile. Your nephew. Or son. Take your pick. He snatched it, breath hitching. Claire?
Gone.
Feds on us. Swaps out. His face crumpled rage. Relief? I told him. Through the lawyer. And the charade. Him. The final knife. Brother's betrayal. Deepest cut. Why? You stole my life. Scream echoed. Guard glancing. The money. The wife. Everything. Everything. The fraud's root. Not greed. Envy. Of me? No, the stability I glimpsed. Crashing on his couch. Before it soured. I stood. Chair scraping. Enjoy the view. Ethan. It's all yours again.
Lie.
The swap? Irreversible. Harlan said, neural weld permanent. But let him dream. Out in the yard. Dust devils whirling. I strapped Noah in. Pointed west. I-10 to I-17. Sedona's red rocks blurring by. Then Flagstaff pines cooling the burn. Billboards hawked justice. Wrongly convicted? Call now. Irony. I was the convict. Free but chained. Motel in Kingman. Neon vacancy buzzing. Room smelling of Lysol and loss. Noah down. Milk drunk. I scrolled news. Fintech exec vanishes amid scandal. Wife seeks restraining order. My face, Ethan's, plastered. Person of interest. Comments roasted. Psycho alert. Protect the kid. Sleep evaded. Monsoon pattering roof, like fingers. Flashback hit. The swap night. Vegas clinic humming sterile. Harlan's scalpel glint. You sure, he'd asked. No takebacks. Sure? For revenge.
Yeah. But now.
With Noah's snore soft. Doubt crept. Controversial crossroads. Return. Confess. Beg mercy? Or vanish. Raise him shadow style. Leech to legacy. Dawn broke bloody. Sky streaked crimson.
Check out.
Cash drop. North on 93 to Vegas. Irony's encore. Harlan met in a diner off the strip. Booths cracked vinyl. Coffee bitter as bile. New docs. Elias Grant. Seattle. Kids Peyton Jr. He slid envelopes.
Thick.
Wired. Clean. I counted. No one gnawing a teething ring. The original logs gone? Burned.
Lie?
His eyes twitched. But time short. Fed's net closing. Handshake. Greasy. And out. Hoover Dam looming like judgment. Waters churning below. Interstate 15 North. Mojave baking flanks. Noah singing babble. Radio droned. Phoenix bust yields millions. Informant hailed hero.
Claire. Hero.
My gut twisted. Pride? Hate? Debatable. Utah border. Salt flats mirroring sky. Phone buzzed. Unknown. Torres. Ellis or Ellis. We know. Pull over. Heart seized.
How?
Harlan. The rat flipped for real. Plea bargain gleaming. I floored it. Tesla whining. Noah fussing strapped tight. Sirens? None yet. But choppers hummed distant. Dots on horizon. Chase scene. American as apple pie, pursuit through flats. Dust plume trailing. Call came again. Safe surrender. For the child.
Child.
The hook. I pulled over. Flats blinding white. Arms up as blacks rolled. Vests bulging. Peyton Ellis? Torres. Face lined like washboard.
Yeah.
Cuffs clicked familiar. Cool on wrists, Ethan's wrists. Claire waited at the station. No on hip. Eyes red-rimmed. I had to, she whispered through glass. For him. Him. Noah. Reaching pudgy hand.
Duh.
Twists apex in holding. Lawyer visit hers. Now mine. Plea. Identity fraud. But light. Swaps experimental. No precedent. Claire testifies your stress. Not malice. Malice. The word soured. And Ethan? Extradition. Your body's his DNA mismatch. But psych eval sells delusion. Delusion. The grand lie. I signed.
Numb.
Release in 48. Psych hold waived for family support. Out in slacks and tea, Ethan's castoffs. Claire drove. Noah backseat giggling. Home, she asked.
Tentative.
Home. The McMansion waited. Lights low.
Inside.
She poured scotch. 2 glasses.
Truce.
Real. Her hand on mine warm.
Known.
I clinked. Sipped. For the kid. But eyes met. Spark reigniting. Hate-love hybrid. Controversial brew. Bed that night. Bodies tangled. Noah monitor green glow. Sex's seal? Or surrender? Debatable. Morning brought Hargrove. Back on board. Family first. Grace. Bought with Claire's charm. Ethan? Shipped back. My shell cracking under pressure, suicide watch. Whispers said. Revenge's ash, not victory. Pyre shared. I wore Ethan still. But softer, diapers over deals. Lullabies over lies. Noah's da echoed. Ambiguous anchor. Yet in quiet. Mirror stares back. Whose eyes now? The leech evolved. Parasite to partner? Or waiting to bite anew? Months stitched into routine. Threads fraying at edges. Seattle? Nah, stayed Phoenix. Ghosts be damned. The McMansion sold quick. Claire's real estate savvy netting 7 figures. We downsized to a camelback bungalow. Adobe walls cooling the scorch. Bougainvilleas spilling purple over fences. Fresh start, she said. Unpacking boxes while Noah army crawled carpet. Chasing dust bunnies like treasures.
Fresh.
As if bleach erases blood. The board reinstated me. Ethan, probationary. Hargrove's gruff, don't fuck it again, the benediction. I dove in. Spreadsheets blurring days. But nights? Noah's colic symphonies. Claire's sighs heavy as humidity. Intimacy flickered, kisses stolen over bottles. Her body yielding soft in the dark. But dawn brought distance. Eyes tracing fault lines. Love you, she'd murmur. Half asleep.
Who's you?
Unspoken. Ethan's trial hit headlines spring. Federal court downtown. Marble halls echoing pleas. I testified. Voice steady. My brother suffered delusions post-swap experiment, grief. Really? For our family. Jury bought it. Mostly he got 5. Concurrent with fraud residue. Psych care included. Visitation?
Sparse.
He stared through glass, my old face gaunt, whispering, "Give it back, back." As if skins shed easy. Claire softened then. Visits with her, us, bearing pies from Safeway. Noah's photo wallet tucked. "Uncle Pay," she'd prompt, but his eyes glazed. "Fix on me, thief." The word lingered. Accusations echo. Paternity? Buried deeper than bodies. DNA test in a drawer. Unopened, truth too volatile for this powder keg. Noah walked first steps toward me. Did a tumbling out. And Claire's smile cracked. Jealous glint. "He knows," she said later. Wine glass stem twisting. His real dad. Real. The debate claim it. Shatter the facade? Or let Ethan father from afar? Leech's legacy intact? Controversial nights. I slipped out. Ethan's Beamer purring to low bars in South Phoenix. Neon dives where accents thickened and regrets pooled. One night stands faceless. Fleeting, chasing the slouch of my old self in motel mirrors. Claire knew. Didn't confront. Her own flings whispered. Yoga instructor with dreads. Open marriage? Or mutual destruction? America's undercurrent. Where vows bend like palms in gale. The real twist brewed summer. Heat wave cracking 120. AC units wheezing surrender. Hargrove called. Big fish. Ellis. VC merger. Silicon Valley play. You lead.
Lead.
The hook, jet to Palo Alto. Schmooze in khakis and polos. Numbers dazzling. I boarded. Claire kissing cheek. Don't ghost us.
Ghost.
Irony. The deal closed in a haze of handshakes and high fives. Checks clearing 8 figures. Back in Phoenix. Celebration dinner, steakhouse off Central. Dim booths and dry-aged ribeyes. Claire radiant in red. Noah with sitter. Her foot hooking mine under table. Proud, she toasted, eyes sparkling.
Proud.
The word warmed. Treacherous. But post-dinner drive. Phone buzzed. Harlan. Trouble.
Kid.
Feds reopened. Ramon flipped full. Names you in the swap.
You.
Ethan.
Me.
Heart iced. When? Tomorrow. Warrants.
Click.
Home. I paced patio. Saguaro's sentinel. Claire pouring nightcaps.
What?
Her radar pinged acute.
Feds.
Again. Truth half spilled. Ramon's revenge. Logs unearthed. Her face paled. Glass clinking set down. Run. With what? The kid. Noah's laugh filtered for monitor. Bath time splash.
No.
Dawn raid. Battering ram on door. Vests swarming kitchen. Coffee spilling hot. Peyton Ellis. Torres again. Badge stern. Claire clutched robe. Screaming rights. I knelt. Hands laced. Ethan's rings glinting mocking. Holding cell reeked familiar. Sweat and despair. Bunk sagging. Lawyer swarmed. Bail hearing noon. Play victim. Experiment gone wrong. Victim. The role flipped. Claire bailed me. Eyes hollow. Noah's with your aunt. Aunt Karen. Pity incarnate. Home empty. Echoes mocking. We fight, she said. Bed unmade.
Fight. Together?
Plea bargain landed light. 2 years supervised. Restitution, ironic. Paying back my own theft. Community service. Fraud prevention talks at prisons. Irony's theater. I spoke to inmates. Ethan's polish masking my grit. Don't take the fall. Make. Ethan listened once. From his wing. Nod grudging. Release day. Claire waited curbside. Noah 3 now. Gap-toothed grin. Daddy home. Daddy. The claim stuck. Ambiguous. Life rebuilt. Consulting gig. Claire's agency rebooted clean. Nights. We tangled sheets. Passion-laced regret, bodies known. Soul strangers. Why stay? I asked once. Post-climax glow fading. For him.
Noah.
Asleep hull down. Him. The truth's anchor. Debatable chain. Ethan paroled year later. Gaunt ghost at our door. My old frame. Eyes mine.
Talk.
Claire invited in. Coffee poured awkward. He sat. Hands folding familiar. The kid. No. Truth hour. DNA pulled. Confess soft. His face fractured. Pain. Not rage. Mine.
No.
But uncle, he claimed. Voice thick. Visits weekly. Park picnics. Noah bridging the breach. Ending? No bow. Just fade. I wore Ethan still, but eased, slouch creeping. Laugh mine. Revenge? Ash long cold. Warmth in Noah's hug. Claire's hand laced. Happy? If fractured families enough. Tragic? If lies linger. Leech's eternal. One dawn. Mirror stare. Why here? Echoed. Answer, because doors shown lead home or hell. Debatable. I smiled. Crooked. Peyton's grin in Ethan's face. And stepped out.